The Dust Bowl was a 5-year drought that decimated the midsection of our country. Not only were there many crops destroyed, but the very fabric of life in the Midwest was beginning to unravel because of soil erosion.
And I can remember one day when I was going to school, the sun got totally covered by that dust out of Oklahoma and Kansas.
The Associated Press estimated more than 300 million tons of topsoil were removed from American farms.
The National Resource Inventory came out, which identified Missouri as having the second worst soil erosion rate in the nation on cropland. And there was a lot of people that said, we need to do something about this. And they decided we needed a state cost share program.
So this tax has provided technical help and incentives for the farmers to be good stewards of the land. We have hillsides that are prone to erosion, so this tax has provided technical help and incentives for the farmers to be able to do what they want to do to be good stewards of the land. And that's why we're the envy of most of the states, that we produce some practices with this program that has safeguarded our soil erosion control and water quality issues.
Based on a study that the University of Missouri FAPRI did back in 2008, looking back at the past 10 years, that affects statewide business income of $500 million and up to 1,000 jobs per year. So not only does, as far as the landowners do the cost share, but the economic benefit that ripples through the state of Missouri. We have saved over 175 million tons of soil.
Soil conservation is extremely important to me because I'm farming some of that ground, and my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents had to practice soil conservation. I can remember my grandfather always said, when I was a young person, he always talked about being a good steward. And when he talked about being a good steward, he talked about being a good steward of the soil. Originally, a lot of the ground was farmed more or less up and down the hill without concern as to how much would erode. And of course, the more you go straight up and down the hill, the more the water's going to rush off in a hurry. And that's the reason we're doing these things. It's to slow the speed of the water as it runs down the hill and not to carry soil with it. See, we've made a lot of progress. That's my point. But we're going to make a lot more. Give us the opportunity.
We have over 150 people on a list signing up every year for conservation work. So the number of people we got signed up shows you how important this tax is and how much work we have to do.
As a state, there's so much benefit that comes from it, just on the soils part alone, not to mention the wonderful parks that are available throughout the state.
So when the Park Division fell into deep financial trouble in the early 1980s with the withdrawal of most of the federal land and water conservation funds, there was a real crisis in state parks. Its budget was cut to only about half what it had been in the late 1970s, and there was a need to do something to support this system. The Parks and Soil Sales Tax came out of that effort as a referendum to be voted on by the people. In 1984, that vote was held, and we passed it. A tax. Missourians don't like taxes, but over the years, they have proved that they love their Parks and Soils tax. Half went to parks and half went to soil conservation. And it has been renewed now 3 times, and each time by something like a 2-to-1 majority. Unheard of for a tax. So a characteristic that I think is really significant in Missouri is the really engaged citizenry that we have on a whole range of environmental and conservation issues. People can see the tremendous benefits of both of those taxes.